Hi friends. Um, the last class we have completed. The major problem was the main point which we have discussed was about the maximum shares that can be bought back. I hope you've gone through it thoroughly, and we'll be completing the last part of this chapter today. I'll be discussing with you today's class, a small session to finish off this. It's a comprehensive problem. This is apart from buyback. You're also having two things which you have learned in group one, that is redemption of preference shares and cancellation of debentures. That is in redemption of debentures topic you learned that, and also the topic which we haven't covered, that is ESOP, employee stock option plan or employee stock option scheme. I think the two topics you are familiar with it in group one. Only employee stock option scheme or employee stock option plan, I think that we'll be taking up later on, but to the extent required for this problem, briefly I'll be touching that because only that for that particular person, I think it's not good on our part to stop doing this problem. So today I'll be taking this illustration 4 from your study material. Uh, and In fact, let me remind you that what are the charms metal, all the problems are there. The same models are covered in our discussion. Maybe you got some RPP or previous examination papers. I think after going through the discussion, I think you can do it, or you can go to download those from your website, official website of ICA. You can see the solution, right? But with this, I think whatever the problems you are having in that will definitely everything has been covered. Okay, including this one. So let me take up this problem to begin with. Illustration 4. Extra limited and non-listed company furnishes you with the following summarized balance sheet as on 31st March 2011. Equity shares of 10 rupees each fully paid 100 rupees. 9% redeemable preference shares of 100 each fully paid. This is in lakhs, my dear friends, 20 lakhs. Capital reserve 8 lakhs, revenue reserve 50 lakhs, premium, security premium 60 lakhs, 10% debentures 4 lakhs, current liabilities 70 lakhs. Fixed assets less depreciation, investment and cost and current assets. Now it is coming to 312 lakhs, 312 lakhs, 3 crores 12 lakhs. Right. Coming back to this, the company redeemed the preference shares at a premium of 10% on 1st April 2011. It also bought back 3 lakh equity shares of 10 each at 30 rupees per share. I think the question is about when company has bought back the shares, the number of shares that has been purchased is given. No need to apply the test for determination of maximum shares to be bought back. Got it? The reason is very simple. We have done one problem where we also, even though the so and so, I think 25,000 shares has been purchased. The problem you remember, I think remember last but one problem in the previous class. There we went for calculation of maximum number of shares because there they were asking us to apply the provisions of Companies Act 2013. Otherwise, when he himself has given that they bought so and so number of shares for buyback, no need to apply the three conditions. Is this clear? Shares outstanding test, debt equity ratio, etc. It is not required. I repeat once again, why it is not required, which is not required, my dear friends. Three tests which are not required. Why three tests are not required? I tell you, himself has given himself has given in the problem that 3 lakh equity shares has been bought back. But if you recollect the problem which you have done, it's like 25,000, if I'm not wrong, 25,000 equity shares were issued. There he was asking whether they can buy 25,000 equity shares as per provisions of Companies Act. That is the reason why for that problem we went for shares outstanding test, resource test, and debt equity ratio test. List of the following three we have considered for applying whether we can buy the number of shares that has been decided by the company management to purchase. Here, I think it's when the problem is plain, straightforward, where so and so number of shares have been purchased without giving anything. I think no need for you to apply shares outstanding test, resource test, debt equity ratio test is not required to be applied. I hope I've cleared your doubt if anybody is having it right. Now, it also bought back 3 lakh equity shares of 10 each at 30 rupees per share. The payment for the above was made out of a huge bank balances which appeared as part of the current assets. Which appeared as part of the current assets. So I think they're saying the payment for the above was made out of huge bank balances means I think you know that simple words you have to create capital redemption reserve because you're going for buyback without going for fresh issue. Is this clear? Then included in its investment were investment in own debentures costing 2 lakhs, face value 2.2 lakhs. Included investments in own debentures. You learned that debentures can be own debentures, purchase of own debentures for immediate cancellation, or you invest and you will be cancelling later on. I think this is the way you purchase the own debentures. After a while, you have decided to go for cancellation. These debentures were cancelled on 1st April 2011. Okay, I think whatever the face value is 2.2 lakhs, but you purchase for 2 lakhs. You know, whenever you buy the debentures, your own debentures, generally it will be less than cost price. Am I right? So when you're going for cancellation, you know that you have to debit debentures account, you have to credit investment in own debentures, and you'll be getting profit on cancellation. I think you recollect yourself what you learned in group 1 redemption of debentures. Okay. So then the company had 1 lakh equity stocks option. I think this is a new point to you. So briefly, let me explain this, and when we come back to this ESOP, we discuss on that. The company had 1 lakh equity stock options outstanding on the above mentioned date to the employees at 20 rupees when the market price was 30. This was included under current liabilities. It means generally I'll be giving entry. What is entry for outstanding expense generally? Expense accounted at outstanding expense. Normally you write. I think here when you're looking at the employee stock option plan or a scheme where it is allowing the employees to purchase shares issued by the company at concessional rate. What is concessional rate? Which is less than market value. That means market price is 30 rupees, but they are issuing to the employees at 20 rupees. So this was included in the current liabilities because as I told you, when you are giving the shares to employees at a concession, is it not a loss? That loss initially just we write whenever there's a loss or in a expense, we write expense to outstanding expense. That loss generally will be debited, and that loss is debited, and that loss is treated as outstanding expense, like salary to outstanding salaries or expense to outstanding expense. And that expense will be closed by transferring to profit and loss account year ending when you have created that particular loss. So then what happened? Till the employees buy the shares, till the employee buys the shares, the amount will appear under current liabilities. That means till the employees purchase the share that has been allotted to them at a concession rate, because concession rate is a loss to whom? Company. If they can sell in the market, they can get 30, but they're giving it 20 rupees. No. Generally, some time will be given to employees to buy back their shares. We'll discuss about why the time is given, etc. We are having some technical terms and that we will be discussing in the next class. For the time being, they'll be giving some time for them to buy those shares till such time it will be appearing under the heading current liabilities, and that is to be closed when the employees are purchasing the shares. I think this is what we'll be discussing in the practical problem. Now they are asking past journal entries to record the above and prepare a balance sheet as at 1st April 2011. I think you all are aware. Sir, what about preference share capital? Let me briefly remind you that when your company is going for redemption of preference shares, you got three options. They can go for fresh issue or capitalization of divisible profit. Now, in this case, the company has not gone for fresh issue. So, obviously, what is that you need to do? They are going to cancel these shares from divisible profits, which are available for declaration of dividend. Am I right? And also, you know that, you know that you also need to create capital redemption reserve for that purpose. How? Nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. Nominal value of redeemable preference share capital minus nominal value of fresh issue nil. So amount to be transferred to CRR is equal to nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. I think you all are aware of the entry. And if you look at the problem here, first point you can see the company redeemed preference shares at a premium of 10% on 1st April 2011. And I think they can use revenue reserve for creation of capital redemption reserve. Am I right? For redemption of preference shares. And also we need to create capital redemption reserve for buyback of equity shares because the company is having. I think you can see the payment for the above was made out of huge bank balances, which appeared as a part of current assets. Means you're going for buyback of shares. You are going for buyback of shares. You're going for buyback of shares. You're going for buyback of shares. You're going for buyback of shares. Excuse me just a minute. Please. You are going for buyback of shares out of huge bank balances, which means you need to create capital redemption reserve. Is this clear? For this particular buyback of shares, you can use revenue reserves. If needs, you also can use security premium. But when you're going for redemption of preference shares, those companies which are following as per section 133 of Companies Act can't use security premium for redemption of preference shares. For redemption of preference shares. Is this clear to all of you? Okay. So now, coming back to this, I think this is very important point we discuss when we do the solution. So I think we need to create CRR. One is for redemption of preference shares. The other one is for buyback of equity shares. Okay. Next, we see the entry now. What is the entry we should write for redemption of preference shares? Redeemable preference share capital 20 lakhs, 10% premium coming to 2 lakhs, 9% redeemable preference share capital account data, premium on redemption of preference shares account data to preference share holders account. Is this clear? I repeat once again. 9% redeemable preference share capital account at R. Premium on redemption of preference share capital account at R. Premium on redemption of preference shares account at R to preference shareholders. Then you'll be making payment because they said they got enough bank balance. Then the entry will be preference shareholders account at R to bank account. Is this clear? Preference shareholders account at R to bank account. The entry is for being payment made to shareholders. Then next, I think you all are aware about this entry. Equity share buyback account at R. 3 lakh equity shares of 10 rupees has been bought back at 30 rupees per share. You already learned this. You know the entry about it. Equity share buyback account at R2 bank account. Now what is the premium here? 20 rupees is premium. This premium on buyback can be adjusted against free reserves or it can be transferred to security premium. You all are aware of it. So the entry will be equity share capital account at R, security premium account at R to equity share buyback. How you got 60 lakhs? 3 lakhs into 20 rupees. Is this clear? Then next, we need to create capital redemption reserve. We need to create capital redemption reserve. I think those who are having the old books, be watchful. The old books, they have used the word security premium for creation of capital redemption reserve. Please remember, you need to create capital redemption reserve out of free reserves. But in some materials, old study material, they have used the security premium. So let us not use it. So please remember, as I told you, those companies which are following the accounting standards have to use the revenue reserve for creation of capital redemption reserve. I think you need to create capital redemption reserve on two aspects. One is nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. The other one is buyback of shares. So in both the cases, it is coming to 20 lakhs is the nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. 30 lakhs is for buyback of equity shares. What is the nominal value of buyback of equity shares? 30 lakhs. So for that they are using which one? Revenue reserve. If revenue reserve is not sufficient, you can create capital redemption reserve for buyback of shares using security premium. I hope you are able to understand this. You can use CRR, yes, security premium for creation of capital redemption reserve in case of buyback of shares because it comes under free reserves. But when it comes to redemption of preference shares, we can't use security premium. So that is why I think his point has been very clearly mentioned. They use the word revenue reserve. If you want, you can note down in brackets. 20 lakhs is for nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. 30 lakhs is for nominal value of equity shares bought back. Is this clear to all of you, my dear friends? Then next, I think this entry is covering CRR that has been created for redemption of preference shares and also for buyback of equity shares. Next, you have to go for cancellation of own debentures. So I told you already, the face value of debentures is 2.20, but the cost price of debentures that has been purchased 2 lakhs. So you should debit 10% debentures account at R. I think I need not tell you about this. To investment in own debentures account at R, you are getting a profit on cancellation because 2.220 lakhs debentures your purchase for 2 lakhs that you are going to cancel. So 0.2 lakhs. And now you know that profit on cancellation will be transferred to capital reserve account. Then the entry will be profit on cancellation of debentures account at R to capital reserve. Okay. Then what happened? We are having a new point, as I told you, 50,000 shares. I think if you see the problem there, 50,000, the company had 1 lakh equity stock options outstanding on the above mentioned date to the employee 20 rupees when the market price was 30. So now if you look at it, 1 lakh equity stock options employee can buy, but they went for purchase of 50,000 equity shares at 20 rupees. What is the loss they are getting? 10 rupees. This loss they have already debited. They have already debited this loss and they have credited this to employee stock option outstanding account. Okay. Generally, they write the entry employee compensation expense. You can debit employee compensation expense. They meant a debited employee compensation expense. That employee compensation expense is a loss that they will be transferred to profit and loss account till the time they buy. Till the time they buy, that is being included in current liability as employee stock option outstanding. So, what is the entry for this now? Bank account at R. How many shares they have? Employees have purchased 50,000 equity shares. What is the market value? 30 rupees. They have purchased for how much? 20 rupees. So 50,000 20. It is coming to 10 lakhs. Is this clear? This one. 50,000 into, if you want, you can make a note later on. 50,000 into 20 rupees. Then employee stock option outstanding concession. What is the concession they are given? 10 rupees. The employee stock option outstanding account that has been created is not required on 50,000 shares because those shares have been purchased by the employees. So employee stock option outstanding 5 lakhs to equity share capital. What is the nominal value of equity share capital? We can write 50,000 into 10 is coming to 5 lakhs. Okay. Then you can credit security premium account. Security premium account is with how much? With what is the nominal value here? 10 rupees. What is the market value? 30. So what is the difference? 20 rupees. So 20 rupees is the security premium. So 50,000 and 20. It is coming to 10 lakhs. Then the security premium account is being debited. I think this is what premium on redemption of preference shares adjusted through security premium. It's a loss. This loss also is to be adjusted against revenue reserves. Please remember, this loss also has to be adjusted against security premium. So security premium account at R2, premium on redemption of preference shares, but the security premium cannot be used. We need to use revenue reserves for adjustment of premium on redemption of preference shares. So let me tell you once again, my dear friends, I think this particular point, let me explain. We need to create capital redemption reserve. For capital redemption reserve, nominal value of redeemable preference share capital is equal to nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. Nominal value of redeemable preference share capital. You need to create capital redemption reserve out of revenue reserve that has been created. And you also created capital redemption reserve. You also created capital redemption reserve for buyback of shares. Is this clear? These 2 points. Then premium on redemption of preference shares is a loss. No, that loss has to be actually adjusted against free reserves. If free reserves are not there, then we can transfer to security premium. But generally, this is the as per section 133 of Companies Act. Those companies which are following accounting standard can't use security premium for writing of premium redemption of preference shares. But I think the solution they have given the latest material. So we'll cross check whether we got enough amount of free reserves or not. If enough amount of free reserves is not there, then we can use security premium. But anyhow, in the problem they have given, I'm explaining. But if you want to have any clarity on this, you need to make a note that security premium can't be used according to section 52 for writing of premium on redemption of preference shares. Is this clear? Right. Now we'll move on to balance sheet now. If you look at balance sheet, let us see notes to account. Equity share capital opening balance 100 lakhs. Less cancellation of bought back of shares 30. Add shares issued against ESOP, because what happened, share capital will increase, no? I think this is clear. When it comes to reserves and surplus, we got capital reserve opening balance 8 lakhs. Add profit on cancellation of debentures, right? It is been added to capital reserve, no? Revenue reserves 50 lakhs, less creation of CRR. I think that is the reason why they went for using security premium, assuming that assuming that they are not falling. I think this is a old problem they have converted. That is what I told you to cross check. Premium on redemption of preference shares can't be adjusted against security premium because we don't have enough revenue reserves. We don't have enough revenue reserves. That is why they have adjusted against security premium. Okay. Now security premium opening balance. I think you recollect your notes, my dear friends. Group 1. I've already given notes about how to use premium on redemption of preference shares. It was there in the study material. Now security premium opening balance 60 lakhs. Less adjustment for cancellation of equity shares 60 lakhs. Less adjustment of premium on redemption of preference shares 2 lakhs. Add shares issued against employee stock option plan at premium. Add shares issued against employee stock option plan at premium, because we have seen already security premium we have created by rating the entry bank account at our employee stock option outstanding account at our to equity share capital to security premium. That 10 lakhs you can cross check, and then you are getting 8 lakhs. I repeat once again, security premium opening balance 60 lakhs. You can see the problem. Adjustment for cancellation of equity shares 60 lakhs, less adjustment for premium on redemption of preference shares. Adjustment for premium on redemption of preference shares. For premium on redemption of preference shares is how much? 2 lakhs, because we have used no loss on redemption of preference shares at premium, and shares issued against employee stock option premium is how much? 10 lakhs. So it is coming to net effect 8 lakhs. And CRR which you have created, it can't be used for any other purpose. It can be used only for issue of bonus shares. I think 50 lakhs. Long-term borrowings, you know that. And debentures opening balance, cancellation of own debentures, current liabilities opening balance, adjustment for ESOP outstanding, investment and cost opening balance, less investment in own debentures, current assets opening balance, less payment to preference shareholders, payment to equity shareholders. I think this is all about the, we are assuming is a bank balance, and share price received against ESOP, because current assets is including bank balance. I think we can go for now. Balance sheet you can cross check. It's simple. Share capital 75 lakhs, reserves and surplus 66 lakhs 20,000. Long term borrowings 1.80. Current liability 65 lakhs. Non current assets, property, plant and equipment 55 lakhs. Non-current investments at cost 118 lakhs, current assets 40 lakhs, right? This is what is about the total, right? Now coming back to this, equity shares with differential rights. Equity shares with differential rights, what do you mean by the theory part? This is Section 43 of the Companies Amendment Act 2013 allows companies to issue equity shares with differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with the such rules as may be prescribed. As we know that a share capital is of two types, equity and preference. Preference share capital with reference to any company limited by shares means that part of issued share capital of the company which carries or would carry preferential right. I think you know about preferential right. They are getting on payment of dividend and repayment of capital in case of companies being wind up. I think we know that section 43A of Company Act defines the equity share capital into two types, with voting rights, with the differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with such rules. So section 43 has included, generally you know that equity shareholders are having voting right, but they are also having with the differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with the such rules as may be prescribed. Why? Hence, differentiation can be done by giving superior dividend. See, for some shareholder, they may give more dividend, superior voting right, they may be having voting right, or in some cases diluted voting right to a class of equity shareholders. A residual category otherwise has also been created to give enough leeway to the management structuring shareholders agreements with the desired divisions of managerial control, interest and financial interest. Simple point is that to have a proper management control, they are having the right to issue equity shares with differential rights. So it must be appreciated that the preference shares are not issued with differential rights. It is only equity shares. I think which shares can be issued with differential rights? Only equity shares. Then let me sum up. This is only theory part. Just we can go through it. Two kinds of share capital: equity share capital, preference share capital. Equity share capital with voting rights, with the differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with such rules and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. Okay. Okay. Then you also might have learned in the law, preference shareholders are also having some voting rights. I think this has been covered in the law. Okay. But I think, let me explain you. Preference shareholders are also having some voting rights in some cases. So if both equity and preference shareholders are having voting rights, how? We can see here. Relative weight of equity and preference share capital when entitled to vote. It is further provided that the proportion of the voting rights of equity shareholders to the voting rights of preference shareholders shall be in the same proportion as the paid up capital in respect of equity shares bears to the paid up capital in respect of the preference shares. As I told you, we got some few points here. Preference shareholders holders restrictive voting rights. Normally, preference shareholders have superior financial rights but less management control rights. Every member of a company limited by shares and holding any preference capital therein shall in respect of such capital have a restrictive right to vote on only on resolution placed before the company, which directly affect the rights attached to preference shares, any resolution for the winding up of the company or for the payment or reduction of its equity or preference share capital. But affect the rights. If any decision by the company is affecting rights of the preference shareholders, or whenever company goes for resolution of winding up, for the payment of the amount due to them or reduction of its equity or preference share capital, they are having the restrictive voting rights. If these situation preference shareholders voting right on a poll shall be in proportion to his share in the paid up preference share capital of company. This once again points to one share, one vote doctrine of company law. Now, here, release of preferential restrictive voting rights. It is provided further that where the dividend in respect of a class of preference shares has not been paid for a period of 2 years or more, such a class of preference shares shall have a right to vote on all resolution placed before the company. This also you learned in the your CA foundation, you learned in maybe in company and also you might have learned. Now, basing upon where you are having relative right of equity and preference shares when they are entitled to vote. We got one example here. Equity capital is held by X, Y, and Z in the proportion of 40:40:20. A, B, and C hold a preference share capital in the proportion of 50:30:20. If the paid up equity share capital of company is 1 crore and preference share capital is 50 lakhs, when relative weight in the voting right of equity shareholders, preference shareholders will be 2:1. That means 1 crore by 50 lakhs is nothing but obviously 2:1 because whose capital paid up capital is more than preference share capital equity share. So X shareholder, Y shareholder, they are having shares in the proportion of 40:40:20, whereas preference shareholder A, B, C are having their preference shares in the ratio of 50:30:20. What is their voting right? Let us see that. The respective voting rights of various shareholders will be, if you look at it, equity share capital 40/100, no total if you add the total proportion of XYZ. And what is the right of equity shareholders? 2/3 according to the paid up capital. 2/3 of 40%, 2/3 of 40%, 2/3 of 20%. Look at 1/3 of 50% to A, 1/3 of 30% to B, 1/3 of 20% C. Hence the relative weights are 4/15, 4 by 15, 1 by 15, 1 by 6, 1 by 10, 2 by 30, or 8 is to 8 is to 4 is to 5 is to 3 is to 2. It means their voting power is X 26.67%, that is equity shareholder. Y is also having 26.67%. Z is having 13.33%, whereas A is having 16.67%, B 10%, and C 6.67%. So now the members are not entitled to voting rights in respect of money not called up by the company but voluntarily paid by the member. That means those members who have not who have not been called up but they paid on their own voluntarily, they are not entitled to get any voting rights. In the last part is the theoretical part. I think with this we have completed buyback of shares. I hope you have understood this. So we next class we start. I think I'm planning to start bank accounts, my dear friends. The problems part we work out because that's the main chapter. So to begin with, I've started with buyback of shares. So the next session we start with the problems part of bank accounts. I hope you all are enjoying this classes. Okay, we don't have any other option rather than having learning through in this particular format. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you very much.